Hi, I'm a Reverend Aliah Selah, and I'm really happy that you decided to check out what I got going on because I just am so excited about this double Virgo new moons that are happening. I mean, they happen. The last time it happened was in 2006, and then it happened again in 2019. And then now it's happening, but it won't happen again till 2033. So it's not often that we get what's a blue moon is when you have the full moon in the same month, two full moons, but this is two astrological both Virgos, new moons. It's not a blue moon. I don't know what you call it, a black moon or something, but nonetheless, it's something that is an opportunity, especially because it's in Virgo. And Virgo is about all this cleansing and going down and figuring out how to let go of the cord cutting that needs to happen. So that's what I'm focusing on in this period between the new moons in Virgo is a cord cutting experience. And why does a shadow work have to be so much of a bummer? It doesn't. It can be fun too. I mean, you have to look at stuff and deal with stuff, and it can be hard. But if we do it together, it'll be a lot more fun, especially because we're doing a cord cutting collage. I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. We're not putting in images of the things we want to cut out. No, we're going to put images of things that give us the feeling of freedom that we feel once we have cut these things out of our lives. So that's something that we're going to be looking forward to, and I'll go over with all of that, what the exact things are. And then it's all leading up to our 90 days to revive and thrive. That is going to be what I call soul blossoming. If you're interested in the soul blossoming, we focus on hormonal and longevity, a new earth relationship astrology. So we put them together because the body and the heart, they go together, and the mindset and the physical needs go together. So you have to be focusing on the hormonal and longevity stuff, or your wellness things. At the same time, we're seeing relationships and how they affect our health. So it's something I've been looking at for a long time, and I love to help empaths with that because sometimes it's not so easy for them. I have Lotus Heart Temple of Vibrational Flow as my church, if you will, that I am developing sound healing, qigong, and all kinds of things for flowology. Anyways, I look forward to talking to you more about that as a divine calling and partner, co-creation empath mentor. That's not easy. I didn't know that's what I was going to be when I grew up, but there you go. So we have a lot of things that are going on right now. We went through the Lion's Gate, and there was all these retrogrades, Neptune, Saturn, Mercury that has gone direct on the 11th of August. So that one's direct now. Chiron was retrograde with Venus in Cancer. And then we had our full moon in Aquarius, which is really cool because Pluto's in Aquarius. So that's a very cool thing. I'll be showing you the chart for that and talking about that a little bit. And now we have our new moon in Virgo. And what's so cool about it is that there is something called a finger of God. And we'll be looking at the chart and I'll show you what that means. Then Uranus is going to go retrograde. Now, what does all this retrograde mean? Well, it's actually time to review and go back over things so that you can make better choices when you go direct again and move forward. So that's the main understanding of it. Anyways, we are leading to our fall equinox to December solstice, Lotus Heart Empath Metaphysical Makeover, Soul Blossoming for 90 days that we're going to be doing. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go to co-creatinglove.us, my website, or you can go to Co-Creating Love Sister Circle on Facebook. Okay, so we are going to be looking at this overview. As I said, there's a finger of God, and we're going to be telling you what that is when we look at the chart, but it points to whatever it points to is very destined in a way. That's kind of auspicious. Whatever is the finger of God is pointing to. In this case, it's pointing to the new moon, which is kind of interesting. It's pointing to the sun and moon that are conjunct when it's a new moon. When it's a full moon, they're opposite each other. So they're both together, and the finger of God is pointing at it, which makes it something that made me want to say, I want to do something special for this new moon. And in fact, 30 days making a cord cutting collage is what I came up with. And the cool thing about it is that the next new moon in Virgo is also a solar eclipse that has an air grand trine, and you'll see a triangle on it, 120 degrees all the way around, and that is air. So it's about communication, movement, change, and we're seeing a lot of that right now. That's a really big thing that's happening in our whole planet. There's a lot of things that are happening that are changing. So it's kind of like good because a lot of things are coming out in the open that were hidden, but we'll talk about that a little bit later because I have a chart up for that as well. Okay, so this Qigong activation, it's like this astro chi that I combine together, astrological configurations in the sound healing that I make these music, sound healing activations. So I do put astrology tones in for the planets of what's going on to balance that. So this is about interdependence and cord cutting. That's what we're doing on the 21st of September. So we're building up to it with this cord cutting collage. Any of you that want to be part of it, I'm going to be explaining how to do it and how it's all going to be happening at our Co-Creating Love Sister Circle Facebook group. Okay, so with all that's happening in the world, the impact of people doing activations, rituals, gatherings, festivals all over the world, and especially at this time, I mean, I feel it's really helping to raise the vibration. Some people say we're moving into 5D, and if that works for you, yes. Others just say that we're coming into a time where people are too smart. They can't be outsmarted anymore by the people who've been not telling what's really going on and trying to run things behind our backs and that kind of thing. So it's all about to change. That's part of the, Pluto in Aquarius that's happening. And if you remember, Pluto in Aquarius last time, if you know this, is the same time that the French Revolution happened and our revolution happened. It's when the people go, enough. It's not been fair and it's got to be fair. That's what Aquarius wants. Fairness, equanimity, and equality, and appreciating all people from all walks of life, humanity as a whole, as one. That's what Aquarius wants. So what I wanted to know is if you've been noticing all these solar flares, and how do you feel? They're affecting us? I mean, I feel them. A lot of people say they feel them a lot, and we've been getting very strong ones. And then the galactic beings that contact us have been telling us that they're doing this to help us to raise our vibration by adjusting our DNA with all these solar flares that are giving us messages to remember who we are. So kind of interesting times that we chose to be here, huh? So I just wondered if you feel that those are our galactic star family. Do you feel that they're rooting for us humans to rise up and join them? I do. I hope that that's something that resonates with you, because I feel that it gives us a lot of understanding, especially because we're finding things that are, now that we can have AI and, ways to carbon, how old things are. We're finding that the story that we had for history was just a fraction of what was there, that there were some civilizations that were so much more advanced doing trigonometry and stuff in Babylonian times. So it wasn't even, we thought Pythagoras was the one who brought us math, but no, it was way before that. So we're finding out that there's been very, different colonizations on our planet, and they've, rose up and then fell, and we don't want to be one that fell. So we are being helped because we, I believe, are a galactic experiment, and that's why we had so much different vegetation and animals on this planet of so many varieties. They brought them from all over the galaxies to replenish this planet that is a experiment, if you will, that they would take these beings and rise them up, changing their DNA several times over time so that they could be an equal with them and offer some of the amazing qualities that humans have to offer with our creativity and our ability to do music and various different things that is actually not as much in other places. Some places there are, but many they're not, and they really see that we're quite amazing. We just have forgotten how amazing we are. So it's time for us to remember acceleration, with the new Earth, 5D quantum leap. And here's the question for you. Are you ready to cut cords of all that is draining your energy? Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut those cords and be ready if you're going to join us for the Soul Blossoming Wise Women's Circle that's happening from fall equinox to winter solstice. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that. But right now, I want to talk about the chart for today, August 22nd. It's the Virgo New Moon, number 1. And the finger of God is right here. You see this? That's 150 degrees each. And they're with a sextile holding it together. And it's between Saturn and Neptune in Aries, Pluto in Aquarius, pointing to the sun and moon in Virgo. So I thought, wow, this is pretty important. This is something that's very important for us to be, aware of how important this time is, this new moon. And I believe the double new moons in Virgo, which, like I said, it happened in 2006, it happened in 2019, it's happening now, but it won't happen again till 2033. So, it's not that often that it happens, and it's kind of a cool thing. Anyways, so there's this other thing that I was talking about, that we have Aries, Saturn and Neptune with Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini. And that 120 degrees at the point, you have Saturn and Neptune around 0 Aries. And 0 Aries is the very beginning of the zodiac. So it's pretty powerful. And they say that some people, they were looking in their ephemeris, it's been about 600 years or something since we've had Pluto 120 degrees from Uranus, but not pointing to Saturn and Neptune in 0 or close to 1 degree or 0 Aries. That is not happening. People looked in their ephemeris for as long as they could look back, 6,000 years or something it's been. So it's important. We have some important stuff happening right now. And with all of these, during we just had the Lionsgate, that was pretty amazing. And we had like 72 hours of alchemy with resistance, innovation, confusion, and power, with all these wonderful transits that are happening. Mars in Libra opposes Saturn, which is testing patience and old strategies. Innovation, which is Mars trine Uranus, opening unexpected new pathways. Confusion, Mars opposes Neptune, dissolving the ego-driven motives. And power, which is Mars trine Pluto, unlocking deep reserves for lasting change. And then we had the Mercury retrograde in Leo, and then which is just, making a full moon final exam for all the weeks of self-review, all this retrograde stuff. And then the truth is revealed now as the urge as us to direct for change, as it goes direct on the 11th of August it happened. So that's why we do retrogrades, because we kind of review, and then when it goes direct, we move forward again with more clarity as to how we want to move. So there are lessons, as you can surmise, for the different retrogrades, especially the ones during Lionsgate. I think it was really important. As I said, Mercury retrograde is rethinking, what are you asking for? Is it an old dream? Do you need to upgrade that to a new dream? And then Saturn retrograde is refine your disciplines for real desires, for that which you're willing to be consistent with, for your disciplines that you are willing to follow through on. And then Uranus retrograde, which is happening on the 5th of September, to break internal rules that no longer serve you, the part that sabotages your growth. That part, that we're trying to cut out. Cut the cords on that one. And then Neptune retrograde is dropping the fantasy of manifesting from your wounds and instead manifesting from your wonder. So that's some really good insights into retrograde. So now let's talk about our Cut the Cord collage that we're doing here for 30 days, and affirmations. And we're going to talk a little bit about affirmations, because I want to make sure that there's several ways to do it. And I just want to give you the scope of what can make it easiest for you to simply write an affirmation with each of the themes that we give you that are universal themes, especially for empaths with cutting cords. So I'll be getting you that as soon as you sign up for the event September 21st, when we have a Zoom Astro Chi activation for interdependence, for cutting the cords. And we get to show our collages, those of us who have made them, and really get ready for the next day when we're going to be doing the soul blossoming from fall equinox to the winter solstice. So that's 90 days that we're going to be doing. And during this period of the 30 days cutting the cord, I'm going to be doing some videos on Sundays on the 24th and the 31st of August, and on the 7th and the 14th of September. So I'm not sure if those will be live, but I will definitely put them in the group where you can, have some other things that add to your experience. Some laughing lotus heart qigong and moon cycle qigong and cord cutting, collage, momentum, whatever might help you to follow through on that. So, for just a few minutes every day, we're going to be doing this shadow work. And believe me, this is the most fun, creative, and productive way I know to do shadow work, is through the collage and through the affirmations and doing it together in a group. So we're going to really allow this Virgo new moon to activate us to really experience the most we can from this cord cutting that needs to happen at this time, so that you can move on and do the next great thing that you're going to do without the weight of stuff that you've been holding on to, or it's been holding you back, all those kinds of things, the shadow work, that the things that we aren't necessarily as aware of that as we need to be, so that we can cut those cords. So that's what we're going to be focusing on these next 30 days. And so it just takes a few minutes. Once you decide that this is what you're going to do, you think of things, ideas, habits, thoughts, feelings, relationship patterns, all the things that you want to let go of. And each day we have a universal theme, especially for empaths, and a journaling question. So you go ahead and, write as much as you want on the journaling. Make sure that you make a affirmation for that. And then you find an image that has the feeling of the freedom that you feel when you cut this cord. So that you're going to have a collage of all the feelings of freedom that help you to stay focused on that which you want to evolve towards. So we've got that going on, the physical, digital, either way you want to do a collage. If you can do one digitally if you prefer that, or you can do one with scissors and paste and, do that the old fashioned way, whatever makes you happy and makes you feel good. The themes that we're going to be having, I have them all on a Google Doc. I'm also putting them at the Co-Creating Love Sister Circle. It'll be posted. And as soon as you sign up for the September 21st Astro Chi Activation Interdependence Cutting the Cord experience that we're going to have on the Central Time, 4 to 8. So it's 4 hours of really going deep into this. We're going to be doing that and showing our collages and preparing for the next step, which is the next day for the fall equinox. It'll be the last time that you can sign up for it. So I'm really looking forward to giving you a taste now so that you know what you're going to be able to experience. So as far as affirmations, we want them to work for our highest good. And we find that sometimes with affirmations, I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes, you're like, I'm abundant with all the money I need or whatever, and you're not. You need money. You feel like you're lying to yourself with these affirmations. So the thing that I found, I was looking at some neurological stuff, and I found that sometimes it's easier for us to have an inner coaching experience with our affirmations where we use the word you instead of I. So here's an example. I radiate positivity and attract kind-hearted people. So that's the affirmation. However, sometimes it's hard to say that if that isn't true for you yet. So if you say you radiate positivity and attract kind-hearted people, it can have a different experience for us. So go ahead and put your hand on your heart. And I want you to say, abundance flows effortlessly into my life. And see how that feels. And now say, abundance flows effortlessly into your life. And see how it feels. It's different. And what I would like people to do is to, use the regular affirmation as you put it all around your house, in your bathroom, kitchen, car, desk, nightstand. Write it down, that one for the day, as many places, or just keep it with you in your pocket and keep remembering to say it to yourself, or say it out loud or silently, whatever works for you. But it's good to say it often. It's good to say it silently, and it's also good to say it out loud with conviction, different ways, and to go over it throughout your whole day so that you have it. But when you're waking up in the morning and when you're going to sleep, do the one that is the inner coaching, that you use the word you in the second person. I feel that those are just times that are very potent. I used to always choreograph my dances at that time, or write songs at that time. It's very like it's a lot of I'm not speaking well, but a lot of energy for creativity at that time. You're in the kind of coming out of sleep or going into sleep, and that's a fertile time. That's what I was going to say, a fertile time to do any creative work. And it's a really good time to do your inner coaching affirmations. So just go ahead and start with what you seek to attract into your life: abundant health, wealth, healthy relationships, good habits, joy, creativity. And of course, every day have some awe. Give yourself some awe. I mean, watch the sunset, take a walk in nature. Or if you don't have any place you can go, turn on YouTube and watch some kittens play with little ducklings, or I love it when they're saving animals. I just think that's so wonderful that humans now are being the caretakers that they're meant to be. That always gives me a sense of awe. So every day, look for your awe somewhere and write it down in your journal. And we're going to go ahead and be doing this until we go to the second one. This is number 2, Virgo New Moon and solar eclipse also. It also has an air grand trine, 2 of them, as you can see here. That's a grand trine, 120 degrees. See that? And there's 2 of them. This is what we've been talking about for a long time, having Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini pointing to Saturn and Neptune. Now, this is when Saturn's going to keep going retrograde till it goes into Pisces. And Saturn isn't as happy in Pisces. It's kind of wishy-washy for it. At least in the fire sign of Aries, it's like, okay, let's go. Pioneering, I know what to do. Let's do this discipline. We got it. Whereas Pisces, it's like, oh, I don't know. I think I want to, focus on making some art or some poetry or thinking, meditating. And Saturn is like, yeah, okay, I'll do that, but not too long. So it's happy to go back into Aries. And if for a while there, it was in Capricorn, which is the sign that rules Saturn. And that was a lot of Capricorn energy during that time. So, it's not necessarily good that it's in the sign that it is ruled by. It can be good. None of this is good or bad, but it's colors of ways to see things so that it can help us, to be more aware of the energetics that are going on. And I love teaching empaths astrology because you get it already. I can tell you that the energetics of this is mostly this here, this opposition, the grand trine, as you can see here. And the opposition is like a teeter-totter, and at first it's like, whoa, that's what you're doing with your oppositions. Wow, one extreme and then the other. But as you grow, hopefully, it becomes less and less extreme till it's just a little shimmy. And that's what we're looking towards. All of astrology is teaching us how to grow to become who we are, the best of who we are. That's really what it's about. It helps us with relationships, with our soul growth, and with timing. But it's not supposed to tell you what you're going to do, who you're going to be with, and all that. So if you ever have an astrologer tell you all of that, please say my 3 favorite words in that circumstance. Thank you. Next. You got to go. Often when I do my readings for people, the first thing I do is ask them if they've ever had a reading before. And if they have, I pray for them and help them to heal anybody telling them anything about them that they know more than them because of astrology, than their own lives, So we will go on with that theme because that's a big one. Anyways, here we go. Cord cutting collage and affirmations. These are our instructions. First of all, if you're not a member, join our Facebook group, which is Co-Creating Love Sister Circle, and introduce yourself to the other wise women and post a little bit about what you seek for the second Virgo New Moon, interdependence, empath, astro chi activation, so that when you're going through this experience of cutting cords, you know what you're making room for. You're getting rid of the energy that is taxing you so that you'll have more energy for what? That's what we want to focus on. So you post your daily affirmation, any stories, images, anything that you want to give about yourself, and give love to other women that are in the group. Share a little about your feedback for them so that everybody feels welcome and appreciated. And when you're a wise woman who posts, your themed daily affirmation every day, and you give off love and appreciation for the other women, you could win a seat at the Lotus Heart Empath Soul Blossoming Sister Circle for our 90-day Revive and Thrive. So I would love to have more people be part of that because they're active and focused. That would be great, because a lot of people want to change. They say they want to change, but do they actually want to do the things that help them to change? Well, some of them do. And I love meeting those people because I love helping them. And oftentimes, once they've made their mind up that this is what they want to do, they just need a little bit of support. And I'm more than happy to be that person for them. Anyway, so like I said, Pluto went into Aquarius on November 20th, 2024. It will be there until January 21st, 2044. This is a big change. And I believe because Pluto is the furthest out planet, it's the last one to go in Aquarius. Why I think it is the age of Aquarius, the dawning, because we've been waiting for Pluto. Years ago, I'd be looking at the ephemeris going, oh my gosh, that is going to be such a crazy time. But at least Pluto's in Aquarius, so it's all going to come out all right. And then Uranus went into Gemini. And remember, those are the two that are 120 degrees from each other with Saturn and Neptune at the point. So that one just went into Gemini in July 7th. And I had a 7-7 activation for that. And till May 22nd, 2033. So these are some big changes that are going to be around for a while. And I really am into the astrological and hormonal connection. I've been finding that the way that our relationships happen affect us and affect our bodies and you know, our mindset. For the astrology can help you a great deal with mindset. And yet you still have to take care of the physical stuff, because all the mindset in the world won't help you if you've got physical stuff you need to deal with. So we do both, the longevity, the hormonal, and the astrology for the mindset, and, you know, various other things that we're doing with creativity. I think that art is a wonderful way to heal. And that's why I love doing the cutting cord, the cord cutting collage, because you end up with a collage that has all the feelings of freedom from you cutting all those cords. And that's going to be a very empowering piece of art for you to look at that you make for yourself. So I'm a New Earth minister, an Asian bodywork therapist, a holistic life counselor, a joy whisperer. And you're like, what's a joy whisperer? And I get images of what bring people joy, and then I do my best to point them in that direction. You get your own free will, so you don't have to. But of course, if there's anything I can do to point you in that direction, it's something I really love doing. And then the Astrocosmos Astrologer means that I do a lot of cosmology. I'll show you a lot of things where the planets are and what they look like in the sky and those kinds of things as well. And a co-creative life relationship empath mentor. And we're just going to see how that unfolds through this very interesting time period we are living in. There's been stages for our new earth to come about. The Great Distraction, now that's been going on for a while. I think probably, I don't want to talk about the news stuff, but there's a lot of distraction. Even our phones are distracting us. But there's also been wars and all kinds of other things that have been distracting us. So then there was deception of all the things that were distracting us. Shh, don't tell them COVID and everything. Don't tell them it was a great deception. And now we're figuring it out. So it's a great disclosure. And we're starting to get some answers and find out what was really going on and why things were so off. And we knew they were off, but we had no way to prove it. And now we do. So we're going to change things. Yay. And that means the great awakening of our new earth is on its way. And what does that mean for empaths? Well, I feel that that means that this world, after all the psychopaths and the sociopaths have been running things into the ground, our world needs empathetic leaders. It needs leaders who understand equanimity, who understand how to, lead from the back and allow people to find their way. And that's why I do my best to work with empaths to help them to rise them up and become the leaders in the field that they are meant to be, because they have so much to give, so much heart and the world needs that now. So follow your joy and there your heart will be. Know the wonder of life's blessings in the visions you share. Let this shared vision carry love through it all. So that's what I believe. I believe that our shared vision is what lets us know that our divine partner is our divine partner. Usually have a shared vision that's greater than both of you, bigger than for the world. And then you can emulate your love. And so many other people are touched by such a great love. That just being around it. I know that my husband and I, we've been together 37, almost 38 years. And people would hang out with us and then they'd end up meeting their divine partner. And it wasn't anything that we were doing per se, but we were just showing them, you know what? It's possible. It's really possible when they see two people that get along, work together. We did bands, we did TV shows, we did events, we did group homes. And so taught classes in astrology. We're both astrologers, so it's been something that has made me understand that it's possible. And I want that for other people too. I know that especially empaths, because see what happens is empaths oftentimes get involved with people who have narcissistic behaviors and, the empath narcissist, dance that goes on until the empath realizes, wait a minute, I want to be with another empath. And when the empaths get together, like my husband and I, then it really is an amazing divine partnership. So that's what I'm seeking for you, because it takes a community to grow a soul. We need each other. We grow when a friend sees and nurtures the best of us and is our witness, with authentic support. We find the surest way to the middle path. So this is a question. How do we cultivate support for what we love to offer? Well, there's a lot of ways that I teach my clients. One, I call it the backwards maze. So you start not at the beginning of the maze where you have to figure out which way to go, what you're doing, who to talk to, all that stuff. You start at the end of the maze. What do you love to do more than anything and could talk about forever, endlessly, because you love it so much? That's the thing you're supposed to do. That thing that just gives you passion for it and you love doing it. You love sharing it. You could talk about it forever. You could do a podcast tomorrow on it. And so basically, once you're there at the end of the maze, that's when you turn around and you walk to the beginning with the idea of, who do I like to hang out with? And those are the people that you work with. And you ask them, how can I help you? Like, I understood that I love working with empaths and that I love talking about soul growth. So now I teach empaths about soul growth. And that's the backwards maze way, starting from the end and working to the front. So I hope that helps you as an image for that concept. And like I said about Pluto and Aquarius, here's the chart right here. And we have a grand trine that's a little different because it is fire, and we have Pisces, Neptune and Pisces. So it's at the end. So it is still within the 120 degrees, but it's not all the same element. Usually it's all fire, water, whatever, but it's not in this case. But it's still a grand trine. So, anyways, that's kind of cool. And it stays there until 2044. That's right here, January 19th. It goes into Pisces after Aquarius. And, here we are with this kind of like a 5-pointed star in the middle there, off, but still cool. And like we always look at these here, these 120 degrees with the sextile 60 degrees, and what it's pointing to. And here it's pointing to Venus in Pisces, which is right there next to Pluto. It's close enough for a conjunction within 10 degrees. Some people like to say less, but I think within 10 it's a conjunction. So that's what it's talking about, this Venus energy there happening. It's kind of cool. All right. So I have been doing this work for a long time, doing charts for about 35 years, but I didn't always do relationship counseling. It just happened, because like people, like I said, would come to my husband and I and hang out with us, then they'd meet their divine partner, or they'd come to us. We had for a while something they called rainbow rehab, and we would have people come. We had a trailer and a motor home, and they'd stay in there and change their life, because you can't change your life if you don't have both time and money. Usually you have a lot of money but no time, or a lot of time but no money, and you need both to change your life. So we would charge them just $100 for like water, electricity, and basic needs. And then they could have enough money to change their lives as we help them with astrology readings and counseling and other things too. So we saw a lot of those people end up finding love afterwards too, as well. So I have a friend who I met again after 20 years. And 20 years ago, I gave her a reading. And the cool thing about this reading is that I think, it was just weird. I kind of ran into her at a time when she really needed it. I didn't know what was going on, but she and her husband, her first husband, had broken up, and she was really distraught, not happy at all. And she didn't know what to do. So I just said, okay, I'll give you a reading. And I gave her this reading. I don't know why it blurs out like that. There we go. So I gave her this reading, and I just told her, I think that there's something new that's going to come for you, and you just got to be open for love again. And she's like, oh, no, I don't want to have anything to do with love. I'm done with love. And I said, well, just be open. And then she had her reading, and then I did call her up to say, how you doing? And she says, okay, whatever, And I said, well, I think you should go do something or whatever, and just, see what you find. She ended up going to a festival, and she makes flutes, and she found this guy. She heard him playing flute, and she went to follow him, and then they started talking and hung out, and then pretty soon they were dating, and then they got married, and then they had their kid. And it was a miracle, because neither one knew that they would ever be parents, and they were both older and very happy about it. And when I saw her, she was taking her son to college. And she said, Aliah, if that man hadn't broken up with me, I would have never been a mom. He didn't want to have kids, and I just was okay with it because I loved him. But I see now, after raising my son, that it was the most important thing I ever did, to have this beautiful child to raise. And I would have missed the whole thing if I stayed with him, or been so upset that I broke up, if I hadn't met my husband that I'm with now, my soulmate. And had this beautiful life together raising our son. So we don't always know what we want. We kind of do, but we kind of are led. You know what I mean? I call it wise faith. So wise faith is when you think, I want this to happen. And then it happens and it comes with all this other stuff that you don't want at all. And you're like, oh gosh, maybe I really don't want that. And then something comes along and it's exactly what you don't want. And you're like, no, I really don't want that to happen. And then it happens and there's nothing you can do about it. And you just go for it and make the best of it. And then it ends up being one of the most wonderful things that's ever happened in your life. Hard, but wonderful. And you grew so much. And you're like, wow, I would have never asked for this. I would have never, if it hadn't fell on my lap, I would have not gone for it. So I guess I don't really know all the time what's best for me. That maybe what comes to me is what's best for me. And I just deal with it, as best I can and make the best of it and see what it has to offer me. And so anyways, that's the message that I was given. And I gave her the wise faith understanding. And I actually became a minister in 2000. And I came to be a minister because I had a TV show and somebody called me up and said, we were getting married and we're looking for someone to officiate and your name keeps coming up. Is that ever anything that you want to do? And I went, could you hold that thought for a minute? And I went online and went to Universal Life Church ordained. Yes, I'd love to. I became their ordained minister in 2000. And then in 2010, I actually joined the International Metaphysical Ministry. And so I've been using that to counsel and offer co-creative weddings and new baby blessing ceremonies. And here at the Rainbow Gathering, we're doing both a wedding and a baby blessing, which I thought was really cool. I also do something I've developed called Astro Feng Shui, where I do house or office blessings as well. So I really feel that what you are seeking is seeking you. And Rumi said it so well. That's such a beautiful saying. And we're here to be one at last. That's our goal, is that we are one. So this is some information about me. I do a lot of different things. I have a lot of background in healing. I went to Five Branches University of Chinese Medicine and studied to be an Asian bodywork therapist, and studied medical Qigong with Mantak Chia and Lee Holden. And I just have a lot of background with energetic medicine after becoming a Reiki master in 3 styles when I was pregnant and a woman healed of cancer in 3 weeks. I kid you not. I was more surprised than anybody. And I just was so grateful. And I've used that same protocol to help many people heal. My own mother 3 times with cancer, and I just worked on somebody with lupus. And basically, I just do it nature's way. And I'm a medical intuitive researcher, so I do a bunch of research that happens, and I'm able to help them with things that maybe they had no idea that they could do. All kinds of longevity things that are, breakthroughs that I love to find out, as long as they are, adaptogens and do no harm. I'm always looking for nutritional answers. And I have a lot of those that I share my clients, that kind of information, weight loss that's very different than when we used to think, oh, you just eat less and exercise more. Well, not really. Especially with the hormonal thing happening. It's just everything gets changed. So I'm doing something I call healthy keto. Yes. And it's healthy vegetarian keto, actually. And I'm finding all these longevity supplements and everything that can help to our metabolism to work optimally. And So there's a lot of things in the health world. I also have some flows, I call them. A 9 chi flow. So I've got 9 of them. One is an EFT tapping song. One is an affirming facial with affirmations all over the different points. And then one's my appreciation flow that helps with multiple orgasm awakening. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. And then the HH9 is a way that I was able to heal my thyroid from Edgar Casey on the other side, who led me in how to do it in a natural way. So if you have thyroid issues and you're not on thyroid medication, I would be very interested in working with you on that. So we'll see how I can help you. I'm looking for many ways that I can. And I am the founder of the Co-Creating Love movement because I believe that love is the most potent force in the universe, agape love, you know. So that's what I'm focusing on with the Co-Creating Love movement. And our focus is on soul blossoming, which is hormonal and new earth relationship astrology insights, because, you know, hormonal and longevity, because, you know, you need the mindset, which astrology is so good for. But if your body's hurting, then the mindset can't do everything it needs to do. So that's why we do both, because it's time to quantum leap. Yes, through soul blessings of soul blossoming. Okay, so this is something I teach everyone I work with. And I want to teach you a little bit, but I'm also going to put in the notes a video that I made to help people with self-muscle testing, because it's something that's so dear to my heart. I've done it for many, many years. Oh my gosh, so many years. Now I can use it as my GPS if I'm lost. If I lose something, I can muscle test to find it. Should I call them right now? You know, I just use it for everything. And I just think it's so important because it builds your intuition stronger, because not because you're not intuitive already, you are, but knowing how to read what your intuition is telling you, it gets you very connected to that. And I feel that we're always connected to our guides, our source, God, spirit, whatever you want to refer. It's still, we're always connected through our intuition. And I believe where they touch our intuition and our guidance, I call that isness, because it always is, you know, and there wasn't really a name for that connection, isness. So self-muscle testing is a isness grower. It grows our connection right there. Okay, so you can stand up and you can calm your wise belly and your belly wisdom with your opposite hand on each and rubbing it in both directions. Just saying, I want to ask you a few questions. My body wisdom knows the answer. It has to be a yes or no question. And if you go forwards after, you know, planting your feet on the ground and stretching up and really, you know, rising to the occasion of this question that you're asking, you can put your hands on your heart or on your throat. Some people do, whatever works for you. And if you go forward, the answer is yes. And if you go backwards, the answer is no. And if you don't have any movement, it's not time to ask yet. Perhaps there's other people involved in the question and they haven't made up their mind yet, or the thing that needs to happen so that it's decided on has to happen first. Remember, self-muscle testing is always in the now. So it could change. So you're like, well, what good is that? Well, just keep muscle testing and you'll see your self-muscle testing. You'll get clearer on the details of what that is. And there are many ways to do that. Like I said, you can't always stand. Like when I'm driving, I can't stand and do it. Sometimes you can do it sitting, but I don't think it's as potent, especially when you're learning. When you're learning, you ask questions you already know the answer to. So like, you know, your animal that you love so much. Do I love Fifi? You know, and you go right there. Yes. You know, so things that are very clear to you are going to help you to know the difference between a yes or a no, because it gets stronger. And you'll see here, there are many ways to do the self-muscle testing. People do it like this. People do it like this, you know. People do it like that. I do it like it's twisting. Um, you know, there's things where you do if you're sticky or not, you know. It's whatever works for you. You just have to find your way. Some people do that. When you're standing and swaying, it's like you're the pendulum. Like some people use a pendulum. And so you become the pendulum when you do it that way. Anyways, I have a video that goes into more detail that I will put in the notes below so you can check it out. It's very important for you to focus on this as an empath, because one of the hardest things as an empath is to make decisions, because you can see and feel so many variables. And so it's harder to, I think, to make decisions. So that's why this is a game changer. Once you start self-muscle testing, you'll never go back. You will make it every part of your life and teach other people to do it too. And it's really an incredible asset to have that feedback all the time there for you. So go ahead and check that out down below where I have a video on it on YouTube. Okay, so we have gone through this beautiful concept of our co-creating love movement. It's all about all of us coming together with agape love and standing for the human rights of all humanity. That's the Aquarian age. Together taking a quantum leap for humanity, co-creating new Earth. And as each aligns with their soul growth and how that leads them to their calling, you know, as they're listening within for our next synchronistic connection, leading us to our divine partner. And as you come together to co-create a shared vision, a vision that is about co-creating love, and that is shared with so many to inspire co-creation. And I just feel that that's how we're going to save this planet. Love. So if you're interested in the Lotus Heart Empath Empowerment programs, like this 90-day soul blessings, soul blossoming for 3 months, celebrate life, celebrate the seasons is how we do it. And if you were interested, you can book a divine partner and purpose discovery session with me by going to cocreatinglove.us/shop. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this experience and that you're interested in the cord cutting collage so you can have that on your wall with all your freedom feelings from letting things go in your collage to keep inspiring you. Blessings to you, and I'm so grateful that you took the time to watch this to the end. Go ahead and give it a like and let me know if you want to be involved in the things coming up. Like I said, you can go to the Co-Creating Love Sister Circle, join and be part of that. And it's going to be posted all in that group. And you can go to our website, cocreatinglove.us, and find out about other things I offer, readings and all kinds of other things. I am so grateful to connect with you and give you some understandings into the double new moon Virgo that we are experiencing and how to optimize that cleansing, purging, cutting the cord energy that Virgo wants from us on a new moon especially. So I will be talking to you later and looking forward to connecting with you and knowing that we're all one. Isn't that a blessed thing? Blessings to you. Peace.